Hey guys, it's July 21st, 2021. I'm Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop FlossTube. We have lots of stuff for you today. We have a brand new It's So Emma cross stitch pattern, and I'm going to show you kind of how we went from concept to conception, and I think you're going to love it. We also have a brand new free sew along that's going to be starting in a couple of weeks, and so that's pretty awesome. So if you're looking for something where you don't have to buy the pattern, you will love that. I'm going to give you a Jolly July update, and then I have some fall finishes to show you from Priscilla and Chelsea from Stitching with the Housewives, so lots to look forward to. I'm going to start with Granita, which is our brand new It's So Emma cross stitch pattern. So to start, this was our quilt pattern, and it's just a really beautiful pattern that has lots of color changes. So when you look at it, you can see that there's like light, dark, medium, and movement of color. And when I was looking at this after we published the pattern, I thought this is a really great cross stitch pattern. So why don't we do that? So here's the quilt, just so you can see lots of different colors. And in the quilt, there are 4 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's one more out here, so 5. So we just took this as inspiration to create a new cross stitch pattern. So this is the cross stitch pattern cover. It is available as a paper pattern, and in 6 months we will have a PDF version. And when you open it, I did want to let you know we made it go all the way across to over here, so the symbols are a little bit bigger. On the back, we are giving you lots of color options. So what we decided to do, each of the charts uses 4 different colors, not including the white. So on the blue, we have given you DMC and NPI colors. On the red, we've given you DMC and NPI colors. And gray, we've given you DMC and NPI. And then over here, we tell you how many skeins you will need. It's only 6 skeins. So if you are looking for something that will give you a big pop of color and you can really take some time to customize it to your house, this is a great pattern. And so here is the cover. We did get it custom framed at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to show you the sample. And Cheryl stitched the sample for us, so we'll zoom in to see it, and then I'll try to show you where the different colors are. So there's this color, the darkest, the next, and then this one over here is a little bit different. You could do this whole thing in 2 colors. It would get too run together though, but I love it. And so we kind of went with 3 traditional colors, and I'm going to show them to you. And this is just a place for you to start. We have an NPI thread pack for only the blue. If you want to do it in either the gray or the pink in NPI or DMC, we have a landing page that we have linked below that you can look at, and you can easily just click the buttons at Fat Quarter Shop to buy your floss. So the 2 darkest, you only need 1 skein. The 2 lightest, you need 2 skeins. So I'm going to show you the difference of NPI and DMC and kind of give you my thoughts on it. And I'm actually going to put it on this design board so that you can see it better. So on this, and I'm going to just give you my honest opinion. Now, I like working with the NPI silk. It is not variegated, but it is very easy to use, and it just glides really nice, and I get less knotting. So doing something really big like this is nice to do with NPI. And if you only have to buy 6 skeins, it's affordable to do. Now on the blue, I would say that the DMC and the NPI look very nice. Either one would look great. So that's my opinion on the blue. On the pink red, I don't know what we called it. If we called it, let's see. Yeah, we called it red, but it does have some pink in it. Now on this one, I think the DMC looks better. So what we did is we pulled every DMC floss and every NPI floss and tried to get, you know, the two darks and the two lights and tried to get enough variegation. But here, I don't think there's enough variegation in these two, but there were no other options. So for me, if I was doing the red version, I would buy the DMC. And then the gray. Now the gray, I actually like in the NPI, even though there's not much variegation here, I like the hue of the gray in the NPI versus the DMC because the DMC gets a little dark here, and I prefer this lighter gray over here. So that's just kind of my opinion, but this is a pattern that you could take and just go to Joann's, Michael's, you know, if you're not getting your floss from us, and just have fun and just sit and look at all the different flosses. Now, Friday, I'm flying to Salt Lake City, and so Lori has all of the NPI colors at her house because I gave them to her for her birthday. So what her and I are going to do, she doesn't know it yet, but her and I are going to pick the 4 flosses that I'm going to use. So you'll have something to look forward to next week because I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I was thinking it might be fun to do fall or spring, or maybe not do 4 of the same color, but use 4 different colors. So I kind of played around with it, but just cannot come to a decision. So Lori's like my little color expert, and so she will help me decide what I'm going to use. Now for the fabric, we used Lori's Vintage Cloth 25 count cloud, and that's what we stitched ours on here. And we did put glass on here. And there is going to be a stitch along, so I'm going to show you the pop-up of the dates, and we just divided it into 9 sections. We felt like putting it into 4 was just unachievable and not really realistic. So those are the dates that we came up with. And since it starts in September, it gives you enough time to really shop the colors that you want. It's not an expensive project because you only knit 6 skeins. It's just a little bit harder when you're working with something like this to pick the right colors, if that makes sense. So I will also be stitching. I will not stitch on the 25 count, but when I come back next week, I will show you the fabric and the floss that I'm going to pick. Because I'm going to work on that this weekend. And then I did want to show you a pop-up of Peach's progress. So Peach is one of the moderators in Kimberly's Stitch Squad, which is our Facebook group, and she actually is one of our pattern proofers. So she proofs all of the It's Sew books, patterns, and cross stitches. And when she proofed this, she was so excited. So she's already stitched this. So you can see it looks pretty intense, but she was able to do it pretty quick. Now I'm going to tell you the threads that she used. She used DMC 3808, 3810, 597, and 598. And with something like this, it's just fun. There's so many possibilities, so many ways to think about it. So now I'm going to answer any questions that you have on Granita. It is a brand new cross stitch pattern by It's Sew Emma. So send in any questions and I will help you. Kay is asking, is it stitched over 1 or 2? So Cheryl stitched the sample over 2 on the 25 count. I will be stitching mine on 14 count. I don't know what fabric though. What is the difference in brands if I'm looking at Aida 14 count? So Witchell is a really good brand. Zweigart is a really good brand. They all have a different feel. If you're a beginner, I would start with either Witchell, Zweigart, or Fabric Flare, just because those are a good quality. They're not too soft. I feel like if you start with a really soft fabric up front, it might be a little bit harder as a beginner. Denise says, it reminds me of the snowflake chart we did last year. They would look nice together. Yeah, they would. Deborah, I noticed it's on 25 count. Can it be done on 14 count? Yes. So I'm definitely doing mine on 14 count because I prefer 14 count. So anything you see, whether it's designed by us, Priscilla, Lori, Little House, Country Cottage, you can stitch it on whatever you like best. Just make it work for you. And don't feel like if you're looking at something that is super complicated that you have to make it that complicated. You can do Aida. I do everything on Aida and my stuff looks good, if I say so myself. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to do complicated stuff. Sasha says, hello from Cape Cod. She's there on vacation stitching Peppermint Lane, and she wants to know if there's any needle shops she should check out. So if you guys want to comment to Sasha, I've never been there, so I have no idea. And then Rose is asking if Flea Market Flowers will be available to download as a PDF, and it will be available on September 27th. So if you just check our website that morning, you will see that we're loading it as a PDF then. So now I want to move on to something new that we have added to cross stitch this year that we haven't had before. It is called Bats and Booze. So I'm going to show it to you real quick. And it's a 4-part mystery for Halloween. This is going to be completely free. And every Monday from August 2nd to August 23rd, we're going to release part of the mystery. And then on the FlossTube, I'm going to show you Fat Quarter Shop's progress on that. It is, the finished size is 93 stitches by 93 stitches. This is 14 count. And on 14 count, it finishes at 6 3/4 inches. Terry stitched this for us using Weeks Dye Works and Icelandic Gray 14 count. Priscilla finished it, and we're giving you like the peek so that you have time to get all of your supplies. And I'm going to kind of go through all the supplies so you can decide if you want to stitch with us and what you would need. So thank you to Priscilla for stitching it. Now I'm going to show you the supplies. So we took our Fright Night project bag from last year, and we thought it matched. So we thought, well, a lot of you guys already have it. Just put it in the bag. So this is the Fright Night project bag. And I'm going to show you all the options we have. So let's make it really pretty. The first thing would be your pattern. This is your supply list that you can download for free right now on our website and on our blog, either one. We have put right here exactly what Priscilla finished hers with. She did use her fabric from Henry Glass, and we listed the SKU number. We also listed the SKU number of this wooden piece she got at Hobby Lobby. And we have listed for you what DMC were suggesting and what Weeks Dye Works were suggesting. Since this is a small project, this is so affordable because it uses 4 skeins of floss. That's it. I mean, 4 skeins. I mean, I bet you have a white and a black and a gray and an orange at home. And I bet you have some Aida that will go with this. So this is free, the pattern. And it's going to start August 2nd. So you got a couple of weeks to get your supplies. There's not that many supplies to get. So there is also a quilt along that's going to go with this. Now for thread, we do have 2 different thread packs. One is DMC and one is Weeks Dye Works. Our sample was done in Weeks Dye Works. And when I was looking at the colors, oh, actually on Weeks Dye Works, you need 2 skeins of the white and 2 skeins of the black. I want to show you the only difference would be the oranges. The other colors are very, very similar. So just to show you, so you can decide. This orange and this orange are a little bit different. So the Weeks Dye Works has a tint of burnt orange. This is much more bright. So that would be the difference. So there's 2 thread packs available. I'll just put these in here and I'll make them pretty later. And on here in your thread packs, we give you information of what's inside. For fabric choices, we are using Witchelt, and we use Witchelt a lot. It's because I really like it, and I like the quality. I know exactly what I'm getting, and they're very consistent with their quality, which is one of the reasons I love them. And we picked Icelandic Gray. The reason we picked Icelandic Gray, this is the linen, 28 count, and this is 14 count Aida. The reason we picked this gray is in the design, there is a lot of white, not just here, but also other places. And with the white, we wanted it to pop out, but not pop out too much. And I feel like if you go too dark with your gray, some of the other things are going to get lost. So my suggestion to you would be use a light gray. Try not to go too dark and try not to go too busy. So these are the 2 fabrics. And we have the floss biddies from Fright Night. And I think they match, especially these 2 really match. So if you have the floss drops from last year and the floss biddies, all you have to do is grab them and put your thread on there. You only need 4 cards since there's 4 threads. So I'm sure you guys already have that. Pull that out. And then we have the Ghostly Enamel Charm. And so you would just take that and put it on your bag. And we also have this pumpkin needle minder, which I love. I'm not like big into needle minders, but I like this one. So this is the pumpkin needle minder. And so a lot of this you guys already have. So we're just suggesting that you already have it. Just pull it out, and it's a great way to accessorize. And then when you're stitching, you can put your needle on here when you are stitching. And so this is going to be our Bats and Booze free stitch along. And I'm going to answer all the questions that you guys have on this. We did get some questions earlier in the week about using hand dyed. And I think with this design, it's a very classic and very simple design. And I think if you get too much hand dyed variegation going on, if it's a very modeled kind of hand dyed, it's going to take away from the design. When there are 2 different symbols in the same X, how do you do that stitch? So I would Google that or YouTube that or look that up. We never put 2 strands in one box because we like to keep it simple here. So I actually don't have any experience with that. So I would Google that. How do you think Bats and Booze would look like on white, coffee, and tea dyed for an aged look? If you did that, I would just suggest that you pick a white that is going to pop more, like 5200, or just get a brighter white, because otherwise your little cobwebs here. So these little cobwebs, I think, will get kind of lost. So I would just take, if you have that fabric, lay some different skeins of white on there and just make sure it's going to pop, because this is an integral part of the design. Even though it is light, I feel like if you stitch all that, you want to be able to see it somewhat. Do I think purple would look good with Bats and Booze? Oh, I don't. But I don't like purple. I don't think so. I think the orange and the purple will fight. So if it was me, I would not do purple. If you were going to do it, you would have to do a really, really light purple. But I would say do a floss toss, meaning get your fabric, put it on there. And if you're not sure, you could always wait until all 4 pieces are released to see the full design, because it's going to stay free forever on our website. So you don't have to feel like you have to do it exactly when we do it. Will Spooky Hollow lighter 14 count by Fabric Flair be good for Bats and Booze? So do you know what Spooky Hollow Lighter 14 count is? Let's see if I can find what that is. Let's see. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. I think that might be some, oh. It would look good. I just feel like with this design, maybe stick with something that doesn't have too much variegation. Would Graceful Gray work for Bats and Boos? It will. I do worry that your gray might not pop out as much, and you might have to go a little bit darker with your gray floss. The fabric is out of stock for the quilt. Will I be restocking? We are looking into that today. So it might be a yes, it might be a no, but we're looking into it already. Will the Fright Night floss colors work for this as well? Yes, that's a great question. I should have mentioned that, but yes, I think that would look great. I will be in Salt Lake City. What are your favorite stores for cross-stitch supplies? So there's a store called Craft Etc. And there is also Shepherd's Bush, which is about an hour away. And there is a really great store called The Quilted Bear. Now, it's not what you think. It's not quilting. It's a little boutique that has, it's like a home decor store. And I really like it because they have little booths in the back. And there's a lot of handmade products there. They're like little blankets or little pacifier holders or frames or just cute stuff. So I think that's a great store to go to just for home decor. And compared to Austin, which is where I live, it's much more affordable. Even if I just buy a bunch of stuff and ship it home, even with that, it's still way less than what I would pay in Austin, because Austin is very expensive. Piggy wants to give a big thank you to Denise at Goose Design. She says, happy Wednesday, love from me and Miss Gracie. And then thank you to Starlight Stitching Company. She says, beautiful new pattern. I love the quilt and the cross stitch. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you. We do put so much time into our free items, and we do that as we do so many free items. And the reason we do it is we want to thank you for being a customer. We want you to have a reason to come to Fat Quarter Shop, and we don't want to always be asking you for money. We want to be providing you things that you can use, just like that Fright Night. If you have leftover floss, just pull it out and use it. You don't have to just always buy. And then thank you to Valeria Bauer. I don't think my Wednesday or Friday would be complete without Valeria Bauer giving us a super chat. She's so awesome. How many small projects are in the collection? And what size would you recommend for all one fabric? So it's a pretty small design. Like I said, it's 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. I think that a lot of you guys will have a scrap of that in your stash. This honestly is a project that we're hoping that you can just download. Don't have to buy anything. Pull something you already have, and it's just a great thing to get you going for Halloween and a great way to just kind of just stitch. So since we just celebrated Halloween super early, I'm going to move to Jolly July. So Jolly July is an event that I do in collaboration with Priscilla and Chelsea, and so excited about Jolly July. I have so much stuff to show you. It's been great fun. I've been able to keep up, and I think at the end of Jolly July I'll actually have everything done, and I was thinking I wouldn't, so I'm very excited about my progress. We do have something very special planned for December. I just found out about it yesterday, so super excited about that. So let me show you my progress on Jolly July, and I'll also talk about what I plan to do next week. So one thing that I thought was super fun to show you is I do keep everything organized in the cross stitch journal, and one of the reasons I do it is for business reasons, because if I'm doing a floss tube in 3 years, say we're in 2025, and someone says, what floss did you use in this piece? Well, I just go right here and I can tell you, because there's no way with the amount that I do for me to remember everything. So I'm super excited because I only have monthly markings, Farmhouse Christmas, Stationery Attic, and then a couple of Jolly July items, and then my book is going to be done. So this is super exciting. So it was a great time to start a new book. And when I started it, what I did is I went ahead and put the 9 projects I'm planning for FQS Sunflower September. And we're going to show you that all of my kits next week, and we have a brand new notion that is going to match it that I just think you guys are going to love. It's not here yet, so we couldn't show you today, and we're grabbing all of our kits, but it's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. And then I went ahead and added the stuff that I've continued from here, but it will make it easy for me when I'm doing, because I've already pulled all my patterns, so I just need to cut all my fabric down and get it ready. But this makes it super easy for me to just start, and just taking that 30 minutes to sit down and just get everything organized, then it makes it easier for me to pull my supplies. And like I had shown you last week, all of this fabric is going to be chalkboard black, and I showed y'all a big bag of it that I had, and we're just going to cut from that. And I'm going to just, I've already purchased all the patterns, but I thought that was super, super, super fun, because it shows that I've gotten a lot done, and it makes me feel accomplished. So I thought that was kind of a fun little addition. So the first thing I'm going to show you, I actually have my pattern inside out. So one of the things, I'm going to show you the pattern. One of the things that I did is with Snowballs for Sale, when I was dividing up parts 4 to 9, I tried to divide it evenly here to give me a way to break it up. So then I'm going to show you kind of how that was my original plan and how I went from there. So here's my pattern. It is designed by Lori Holt, and I love it. So I'm going to look real quick to see what I stitched this on. Let's see, I stitched on Amber 14 count Witchell. The sample is stitched with 25 count Heritage by Lori Holt. It is a full color pattern. And what I have done is I went ahead and did the entire snowman. And I outlined, when I got here, I just outlined everything. Then I put all my aqua flowers, and then I filled in. Now my plan, I've got 4 more sections to do. So I'll probably do the scarf all at once. I'll probably do the broom all at once. And then, you know, kind of all the accents at once. But I was so concerned that I would get so behind on this one, and I haven't. And I'm so excited. I think I'm going to frame it similar to her. She got hers framed at Craft Etc. And let's see. Oh, Craig Frames. So I think she got that at Amazon. So I think I'm going to buy this same frame at Amazon. But I might not be able to do that actually because I'm doing 14 count. But I want to frame it similar to her with that blue frame. Even though there's no blue in here, it really kind of brings it all together. So I like that it's something that I can use inspiration for. So that's the first thing I worked on, and I worked on that twice during the week. So let's see, I'll just put everything back. And that's that's exactly how I use it. And this is a bag from Goose Design, but I just put everything in, and I always want it to be something that I can just grab and go. The next item that I worked on was the Very Merry Ornament, which is a tiered tray tidbit. There's going to be 4 of these, and this is the second one called Mary. This morning we released a new one, and so this one will be my 3rd one for the series. So this is the second, and then this will be the 3rd. And it took me about 6 hours to do it. And I did go back on my previous one and change my back stitches to be 2 strands instead of 1. And right here, I went ahead and changed this to 2 strands instead of 1 on my first one because I got it to look better and got it to look a little bit closer to their sample. So we'll show you that when we do the summary, how I kind of redid it. And so don't ever feel like if you do something and you don't like how it came out, that you can't redo it. And then what I do when I go to the next one, I'll use the same needle. instead of like throwing it away. I just leave it on here, and I keep all of these in one bag. So I'll just grab the needle from that. And the next one is Peppermint Lane, and just like Granita, this was based on a quilt that we did years and years and years ago, like, gosh, I don't know, 6 or 7, 8 years ago. And so in this bag, this is one of our Mad for Plaid bags in the red, and I just have I have my floss on the Beekeeper. And then the ones that I haven't used yet, I keep them in my floss pack. And I've been able to keep up with this. And we do have a pop-up here of, oh, we forgot it. Okay, so we won't do it. So the next week will be, I believe, right here. So this is what I was able to do this week. No. This was the week after. This was last week. And then I think I'm going to go down to here. I can't remember, but it's on our blog, so you can find it on our blog. The one thing that I did do, though, is as I'm doing each section, the border has 3 fabrics in it. A pink, a red, and a white. And I'm just doing all the pink throughout, so when I get to that very last one, you can see it. Okay, so we have the pop-up ready. So week 4... yeah, so week 4 is the wreaths. So I'm going to do the wreaths, and when I do the wreaths, what I will do is stitch right here, the border, and then go down here to the border. And by doing that, I can make sure that I'm in the right spot, because if I get off here on the border, I would notice it. So it's always great to kind of, doing this keeps me on track to know that, because if I had done this border and I put the tree like maybe 1 stitch up or 1 stitch down, I would catch it by seeing where it connects. So, and that will also help me because it on the last week is the big border. So that's what I'm going to work on this week. And one thing that was super fun doing the trees is they're all 3 different. So this one's gingham, this one has little kind of like flowers, and then this one was stripes. And super exciting because that's the same thing on the wreaths, is that we've got that little detail in there to make it really pop. And this one, I am using a special fabric. So let's see what I'm using, because I already forgot. It is Opalescent White 3706-11. It's Weigart. And I just keep track of where I'm at on each part. And this one, I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with the fabric choice. And then I keep these there because when I'm stitching, I'll show you what I do. So I'm going to stitch here when it's that day. So what I will do when I pull my fabric out, I try to roll it pretty tight. And I'll roll it like this. My needle's in there, so that's not great. I should have taken that out. And then I put a little pin here. These are Clover Wonder clips, and I don't put them on top of the stitches, just on the fabric. And then when I'm stitching, I have, you know, a little section to work with, and so I'm not having to go all the way around. Like if it was all the way out here, I would have to put my hand all the way under. It just makes it much more achievable when it's like this. So that's Peppermint Lane. And I'll be doing the wreaths this week. The next one is also an ornament by Priscilla and Chelsea from Stitching with the Housewives. So this one is Ho Ho Ho. And this one took me a little bit more time. I think this one took me 7 hours. And here I did do the stitches with 2 strands like they did. And this one was super fun. It did take me I felt like I was never going to get done with the bowl. So the bowl took forever. But with the bowl, I did the same thing where I outlined it and then filled in. And then the last item that I worked on, I kind of went rogue. I know that's not even probably the right word, but I kind of went off schedule. So this is kind of how my thread board looks when I'm using it. And then inside my bag, I just have all my thread And on this one, I have been using Lori's beeswax conditioner. So this one I had originally divided out into 5 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going up. So vertically. And I'm a little bit off on here. So kind of what I started doing when I got to part 3 is I just decided to go up here. So I just have to finish night and the Santa, and then I need to do the 2 houses and the 2 trees. So that'll feel good once I get all this done, because then when I'm stitching across, I know that I've got the house in the right spot. But I really like to do text. I love to stitch text for some reason. And so I just prefer to do that over a house. So I thought, well, this will be more fun, and doing the Santa will be more fun. I'm using the called for colors. I haven't changed it at all. I haven't changed any of the colors. The only thing that I'm probably going to change is the Santa's hand right here is yellow, and I'm going to make it black. Even though it's black cloth, I am going to make that black. But I am going to keep the bottom of the sleigh yellow. So when I come back next week, hopefully this will be done. This is what I'm going to work on the plain to Lori's. Because unlike other people, I find the black really easy to see. And when I go on the plain, what I will do, I will have, this is how I stitch on the plain. I bring one of these bitty boards. Of course, it won't have all the thread on it, because that would be crazy. I put this in my lap just like this, and I stitch. So that's how I plan, and I'm thinking I can get this done on the flight. And that is my Jolly July. Now for next week, the only addition that I have will be, I'm going to try to finish up Kringles, and I'm going to add the additional tier tray tidbits and Dapper Doodads that come out from Priscilla and Chelsea. And then I usually keep this one kind of rolled. And this is... it just sticks on the board. Even when I put it in here, it doesn't even fall off the board. So kind of keeps me going. And this one I just throw in here. And I try to keep all of the Priscilla and Chelsea projects in their little bags, because then I know it's a Priscilla and Chelsea project inside. When I outline, do I do half stitches or full stitches? I do the full stitches because I have found that when I did the half stitches and then I came back later, that I forgot to finish the X's. So because of my forgetfulness, I decided to switch to full stitches. How you manage to stitch the words, you start and end all the letters, or one word at a time. I just do each letter and then I just do letter by letter. What color did I make your houses? FlossTube, okay, I did, on the Priscilla and Chelsea, I did all of the called for colors. On the ornaments, I did change 12 grain to bamboo, just because I already had bamboo. And there's no reason for me to buy a bunch of 12 grain when I already had bamboo. After I finish a project, how do you keep the floss? So I do have a video. I have 2 videos on how we store floss, and if you look at the organization video 1, I show how I keep my floss. But what I do is I keep a little section in my sewing room, and as I'm done, I put my little floss there, and then about once a month I go and combine it with my other stash and just keep it there. And that's like, I have a ton of bamboo left over from last year's trucking along, so that's what I'm using throughout all of these ornaments, including the ornaments that I did previously. I still have that much bamboo left over. How long does it take me to do something like a single one of Lori's stitch cards? Her stitch cards take me about 2 hours. How do I divide up my stitching time? How many projects do I have going at one time? I probably have 8 or 9. I try to fit in 2 hours of stitching each day. And then what I do on the weekends is my family, they like to stay up late and get up late. So they don't get up till like, the earliest somebody's going to get up on a Saturday is 10:30. So I will get up on I'll go to bed at like 9 o'clock. get up at 6:30. That gives me 4 hours to stitch. I even stitch in the room they're sleeping in because I just use that light, that Halo Go light, because that's not enough to wake them up and they can sleep through anything. So I do try, I use my time on the weekends where it doesn't take away from my family time because they're still asleep. But they're night owls. So like Kevin, the boys, Emma, they love to stay up late. Whereas if I tried to stay up late, I would just fall asleep. So I just do a different sleep schedule than they do. And then it doesn't really take away time from them. And for example, Emma, she's been going to Ballet Austin, which is downtown. And it's pretty far from my house, like 40 minutes. So I'm not going to drive 40 minutes, then go 40 minutes home and drive 40 minutes back, because that's, first of all, a waste of my time and a waste of my gas. So I sit there and stitch. So last weekend I stitched for, I think, 2.5 hours in the car. And then a funny story is I tried to go to Starbucks, but I got lost. So one thing about me, I am horrible with directions. Horrible. Like, if you want to get lost, go with me. I have no idea how to get anywhere. I just am horrible at it. Like, I am just, so I had the navigation. So I get out of my car, and there is a big homeless population in Austin. So I was a little bit concerned. It just, I was just a little bit concerned. So I walked a whole block that way. And I was like, oh, I'm going the wrong way. So then I went back, and then I went back the other. So I walked like 4 blocks. I was so lost. I got so mad. I just got in my car and was like, forget Starbucks, because I never figured out where it was. So I was stitching in my car. I really wanted a Starbucks and I couldn't find it. And that's when I was like really missing Kevin, because he knows I'm horrible with directions. So even if he's in the car, he won't even say like, pull up the directions, because he knows if I do, I'm not any help. I felt like when I was younger, I was a lot better with that. But I think that I've gotten lost so many times that I just get too frustrated too quick rather than having patience. Because when I was walking to Starbucks, I was going the right way the first time. But for some reason, I got turned around. And I don't know, downtown Austin, I used to work downtown, but it was like 25 years ago. So I just don't know where anything is. But I did really want that Starbucks. But I got really mad. I'm trying to stitch in hand. Why is my DMC bumpy? So I would try railroading. We do have a video on that. And I would try, if you're having trouble, take your 2 strands, separate them, put them back together, and it'll just take some time. Remind me how to keep track of colors on the Floss Keeper. Okay, so I'll have to find one. Let's see. So I think I have one maybe in this bag. Nope. It's in this bag. Yes, sorry. So on this, there's lots of these. There's some that we sell. There's some that Lori sells. There's lots of different ones, but it's the same. It's the same principle throughout, meaning the same method. So whether you use perfect. So these are both by Lori Holt, and I can pull some of the Fright Night ones. So this was the original Floss Keeper that Lori came out with. And on the front, she has 1 through 12. And what she'll do is on her pattern, she'll write the number that it's on her pattern. What I do is, this is DMC. I bought the DMC thread numbers and just put it on here. But you don't have to do that. You can get a simple label maker and then use that, and then they will come off. And when you're done and you pull them off, it will be a little bit sticky. And what I do is I get alcohol and a cotton ball and then just wipe it. And then on here, you could do the same thing. Now here, there's only 5 colors, so I didn't feel like I needed to label them. But what I would do is on the back, on this one that has the little sticker, you can write on it and then erase it. But if it was me, I would put a sticker. The same thing with these is there's a pretty side. What I would do is leave that there, and on the back where the logo is, I would either put a little number here, or you can, if you're working with fancy floss, I've got to get one out of my bag real quick. So for these, and the reason I really like the floss biddies is when I'm using one of the overdyed floss, whether it's Weeks, Dye Works, Gentle Arts, Classic Colorworks, they're all the same in terms of the cards. On the back where the logo is, I'll put that there. And you can see that I'm running out, so I have it looped shorter just to make it easier. You know, it's just easier. I do this, and then once a month when I'm done with floss, I will go and then I'll pull from my stash, and I bet I have a roasted chestnut already. I'll probably pull this off and combine it with another one. That way I don't have too many floating around. I'm trying to figure out how to post my Jolly July. I finished it. Yay! I have zero help on social media because I don't use it. I had a long conversation with my daughter about social media this weekend. She really has a hard time she's 14, and she really has a hard time because she's like, Mom, you're so different. You dress different than all the other moms. And I'm like, I dress good. I just don't want to dress up. I don't have any interest in that. And she's like, but you don't social media, like you don't put pictures of me or my brothers. I think it's weird. And I just told her, like, I am just not a person that feels the need to put my time into social media and post something to brag, because I'm totally content with my life at home without it. She's really, I'm trying to teach her that you don't have to, just because another mom, just because your friend wears these shoes, you don't have to. Now, if you want to, that's great. But you don't have to be like, you don't have to fit the mold to be happy with your life. So that's something that I'm working with her on. I think my success rate on that, 0. But I'm trying. But I do kind of feel bad because she thinks I'm so different. Because she's like, Mom, the shoes you wear. I'm like, I look good. And she's like, I don't know. Because I'm a little eclectic. And so I think she thinks it's weird. But I'm trying to teach her that I'm not going to do something just because somebody else does it. Because that's just not the way I've ever been. Even in high school, like I can remember I would wear tie-dye in the 80s. And it was like, already past the point of it being popular, and so everybody was like, tie-dye, I remember one of my friends saying like, oh, that's out of style. I'm like, well, I still like it. So anyway, is pale gray gingham on white and gray gingham? Is pale gray gingham, it is a white and gray gingham. Is the Weeks Dye Works Kohl variegated? It is, but it's with black, it's slightly variegated. Oh, we can show you. Yay. So this one, when Weeks Dye Works, it doesn't come pre-cut, so I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna do it in a circle. So just looking at it, you don't see much variegation because it's black, but if you buy another skein, it might be totally different because it is hand dyed. I don't see much variegation. And some people really are dead set on variegation, and I'm kind of one of those people that I just do whatever I think will look good with that. In addition to Jolly July, I did get this done, and I was going to ask you guys for some advice on this. So I got this done last night, and so there's a couple of things. I stitched all of the lemons with hickory, I think it's hickory sticks. It's one of the browns in the pattern. And when I just looked at it, I thought, that is so strong. I just don't like it. So this morning when I came in, I unstitched these and added yellow backstitch. So I think I'm going to leave it at the yellow backstitch. So I would love for you to comment and tell me, do you think the brown looks better or the yellow? Because I've got to fix it. I've either got to pull this out and change these to yellow, or pull this out and put brown back in. And this pattern also has back stitches or long stitches on the windows. I've been leaving those off. And on the strawberries and on the watermelon, I did colonial knots, and Cheryl taught me how to do them, and she actually taught me, we have a video on it. So on here, my knots are a little bit smaller, and I kind of did them a little bit more scattered than the pattern. And it took me about 2 hours to do all the little colonial knots, but I think they look good. The other thing is, in the pattern, there are little ants in the basket. So in the ants, it's got 4 legs, a head that are all backstitch, and then it's got 4 French knots. So in this basket, I did one, and I was like, that doesn't look like an ant. I pulled it out. I did another one. It did not look good. So I decided we're not going to have ants in mine. But I want to know from you guys, do you think I should put some of these little flowers that are down here in the basket and kind of maybe fill one side of the basket with a couple of flowers, or should I just leave it alone? Now, I don't think the ants are a bad design in any way. I just couldn't get mine to look to where I was happy enough with it. And I did show one of my kids. I was like, what does this look like to you? And they were like, I don't know. So, you know, if your kid doesn't know it's an ant, then that means I didn't stitch it very good. So, yeah. So Lynn is saying she likes the brown. And I love your admission of success. Thank you. And then Barbara says, my son used to actually warn his friends the first time they would come over. I have to warn you, my mom is a little bit different. But now I'm still the mom they come to. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like in the generation we're in now, one of the problems that I think that you hear so much about mental health with children, and the reason why is social media. And I've told my daughter, you're on that phone all the time, and you're looking for somebody to like your post. And that's how you are judging your success, and that's so bad. Now she's 14. She's going to do what 14-year-olds do. I can give her advice all day long. I didn't listen to my mom when I was 14, and she is Kimberly Jolly the second. She's not going to listen to me. She's going to do what she wants to do. She's strong-headed, and that's a good thing. I've taught her to stand up for herself. It's just a struggle I have. I don't even know why I'm telling all you guys this. I hope she's not watching this video, by the way. Okay, so we also have we asked Priscilla and Chelsea if we could borrow their new samples of 2 of their brand new charts because I love them so much. Let's see. So the very first one, these are brand new paper patterns. They will be available as PDF. And this one is going to be so fun. So this one I am doing as part of Stitchtober. Now the back of the truck is going to be a series. It will not be monthly. It will be seasonal. So there might be one every other month, but then a couple of months it might be once a month. So I will be doing all of them. And this will be one of my Stitchtober projects. And here it is. Oops. On the table. Okay, maybe not. Sorry, Priscilla. Okay, but what I thought was so funny about this, okay, when I saw it yesterday, sorry, all these little things, I was like, oh, it's a purse. And I was like, I could show up at dance and be like, I have a new purse. I was just being stupid. But yeah, that's something I would do as a joke. But this basket, she did list on the back. So they're listing now what they do on the back so that if you want to finish yours like Priscilla and Chelsea's, you would just find it on the pattern. So yeah, I love this one. I mean, look at it. And I'm going to keep it exactly the same. Now last year, they did several charts with this same pumpkin style, same colors. So it's going to match what they did last year, which I've already done. So that's super exciting. But yeah, I think it's funny. Like, I could just walk around my house doing that, and my kids would be like, what? She's crazy. And then the next one is called Scarecrow Bakery. Sorry. And it says happy fall, y'all. And this one is in this. And what you can do is change this out. Wait, does she have it glued? Yeah, this one's glued. Actually, no, it's not. This is not glued, is it? Yeah, it's glued. So this one's glued. It's not glued because when she shipped it yesterday, it wasn't in there. I'm confused. I think that was... Oh, okay. So when she shipped it, it was like this so that it wouldn't get damaged. So if you need... That's what I was trying to figure out. And then she glued all the motifs on it. And so this one is part of their Up on a Pedestal series, which this is not the first one. And it's got Scarecrow, and it does have sunflowers. So we were thinking it could be an option for you guys for FQS Sunflower September. And on that one, that's just anybody's charts. It doesn't have to be their charts. It doesn't have to be our charts. We're just kind of encouraging you to stitch throughout the year. And I have a previous finish to show you. And this was my Snow Village. And I just kept all my old patterns in this little plastic bag. And we do sell the set of patterns. You can stitch them individually or as a piece. I stitched it on white petty point on gray. This is 18 count and it is a Zweigart fabric. I picked my own thread colors and it is in the Kimberly Snow Village thread pack. So you could buy from Fat Quarter Shop the pattern set and the thread set. The one thing I did different is I left off the, there were like little connectors on the words, like it's supposed to be a banner. But I just could not get it to look right. So I left that off. I don't think anybody will know but me. It took me 110 hours. So quite the accomplishment. And then I did get this one custom framed at a little frame store in Austin. I wanted to show you this. This is our NPI Fine Floss Club. And you get 5 different colors. Now, if you are in the NPI Floss Club, grab those and look at those with your Granita pattern, and you're already going to have the colors. So if you like pink, we've already done a pink. If you've done blue, we've already got a blue. If you've done green. So if you're in this club, all you would have to do is buy 2 more strands of the 2 darks and the pattern. So super easy, and that Granita pattern will be available as a PDF in 6 months. We also have some flash sale items. So we put this color of buttons, Sunshine, those will sell out, guaranteed, and Trucking Along by Priscilla and Chelsea. So both of these will probably sell out. And then I'm going to answer a couple of questions and then show you all the new stuff and some announcements. Trisha says, I love the Snow Village. Did you like working on the 18 count? No, I hated it. I love the finished look. I have decided since doing that I'm going to really just stick with 14 count because I cannot go as fast, and because the stitches are smaller, I don't feel like my stitches lie as flat. They're a little bit puffy, and so I spend a little bit too much time trying to fix my stitches. So Donna suggests flowers in the basket and try soft green for the lemons. Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. I might do that. And Kimberly says flowers in the basket, yes. Yellow on the lemons doesn't show, so she would use brown or a darker yellow. Those are great suggestions. I'm so glad I asked you guys. I do want to let you know that you're going to want to join next Wednesday because we're going to be showing off FQS Sunflower September, but we're going to have a big announcement about our beginner series, and I'm excited to share that with you. I do want to show you also what we have new in the shop since we did get a lot of stuff this week. So with our Stitch Quarterly, this was a paper pattern, and it's now available as a PDF. And then this one I wanted to show you guys because I actually was super curious what it looked like. This is a new product from Little House Needleworks called Love Family Home, and she took her logo of Little House, put it in a chart, and she told me the reason she did that is she's gotten so many requests over the years to make her logo into a chart. So she's done it, and we're selling it. Oh, I can't show you the back. We are, because the back shows the pattern. So we're selling it as a set with this sampling of Memories thread keep. I'm going to open it and show it to you. And it also comes with all of the floss that you need to make it. And we have a couple left. And so once these sell out, we will not have more for maybe a month or two. So what you can do with this, so this is super cute. You could actually attach this to a bag. So if you you can get one of those little hooks from Joann's. And for example, on this Dot Dot Goose bag, you could take this off. You could put it here and you could connect it with one of the little circle loops that you could get at Joann's. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but you can use this for a lot of things. So what you would do is put all your thread on here. And then you are stitching in style. Oops, sorry. Oh my gosh, we'll have to wipe that out. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. So that's new, and I actually didn't know what it was going to look like, so I was actually excited to look at it and play with it. Very excited, love it. And it's like a little glass. And then we have two new Tiny Modernist patterns. So this one says Trick or Treat, and her Halloween is actually what sells best for us, her Halloween and her Christmas. And then this is the autumn signs. Now you'll remember I made the Christmas signs years ago, and I made 3 out of the 4. Now this, I was thinking these two would be great for FQS Sunflower September, since they have sunflowers. And this would look great if you put this on, it doesn't have to be white fabric. You could do this on that, I think it would look really good on the pale gray gingham. And it would also look good on, I'm trying to think of the color that I love. That's that first color I used to use so much. Lamb's wool. I think it would look good on lamb's wool. So this is something that I would consider stitching in the future. Hands on Design has 4 new patterns, and some of these are part of series. This is just an individual pattern called If Pumpkins Could Fly, and it's got 2 charts. She does have a YouTube channel, Kathy does, and she does lots of videos on finishing and gives you lots of different ideas on what you can do with her patterns, which is great. This is Signs of the Season, and she has other signs that she has done, and I do think there is a video where she gives you hints on how to finish. And she has shown you with it on black fabric and tan fabric. And I think that's great when designers do that, because it gives you lots of options and it helps you see what it's going to look like if you were going to do it. And then this is Resting Beach Face, and this is part of a series. And then this one is It Came with the House, and this is also part of a series. There are 3 in that series, and this is the second one, I believe. And I actually have this on my list of I would like to do it. When I was looking at it though, I have nowhere in my kitchen that I could put it, because my kitchen is very it's white and I just have yellow and gray. And so I was kind of thinking, well, number 1, where would I put it? And then number 2, maybe I would want to do that when my kids are grown, since They do make coffee, which none of us, Kevin and I do not drink coffee. Our children drink coffee, and not only do they drink coffee, they have a Nespresso machine and all kinds of fancy stuff. And I don't know where they learned how to do all that. Actually, I do know where they learned, but one of Emma's friends' moms taught Emma, and then she taught all the boys. So just the thought of that coffee getting on even the frame, even if I put glass, it just makes me nervous. But it's kind of funny because they know how to make the fancy coffee, and Kevin and I just laugh because we don't drink that. This is Square Dance, Halloween Square Dance 2. There are Christmas Square Dance where there's 12, and then now she's doing Halloween, and this is the second. So she usually does like a little setting also on her website, and you could, you know, interchange them. And then this one I thought was great because this would be perfect for FQS Sunflower September. It's called Flower Fun, and she has a great finishing idea here, and it does come with this button, and she shows you how where it would look cute on there, but you could put it anywhere. But I love that it comes with this button. We did have some email requests for this Scarlet House pattern called A Changed World. So I wanted to let you guys know that you requested that we carry it. So we have it in stock. And we also had a request to carry some of the older Blackbird patterns. So we went ahead and purchased all of the patterns that are available from Hoffman Distributing, because that's who distributes their patterns. And I'm just going to lay them out to show you. And these are all online. And just always remember, if there's a pattern you want us to carry, we will carry it if we think we can sell it. If it's a pattern that we're maybe didn't have success with that designer in the past, we might say no, but we try to be as accommodating as we can if we think we can sell it. I mean, if we can't sell it, then that would be, these are really cute. I like these two. Now with something like this, I would be so scared to finish it, but I would love to stitch it. And I did, some of these are part of a series, so I did put them in order of the series, and some of them we already have had the other pieces of the series, but we're just showing you kind of what's new. And here's some more. It's so pretty. I feel like I want to stitch something in memory of Barb. These are very, when I see these, I'm intimidated. Because I always want to be able to finish what I start, and I'm always just a little bit scared that these would be a little bit too hard for me. But they're beautiful. And this one, you could just do one. You wouldn't have to do both. And you guys can comment and let me know what your favorite Blackbird pattern of all time is. They do discontinue some items. They do have a Facebook group that is a Blackbird Designs Facebook group, and in there you can get answers to questions on what is, like, is a pattern discontinued or not, and they will know that in that group because I'm a member of that group. And this one is a booklet that has a lot. I love the colors here. And then this one is a booklet. Lots of samplers. And then Kim Popper is saying that the jump ring is the little ring. So I'm going to pull this off and see if I can figure out where the jump ring is. Okay, yeah. So you can, oh yeah, I have really bad eyesight, guys. So you can actually take this and like open it, put it on. It's got a little thing. You can open it with like pliers, put it on your bag and then close it back, and it's got the little thing right there. Or you could just get another one. I have bad eyesight, so I didn't see that. Sorry. And then Lori said, Kimberly, I'll help you pick a perfect blackbird designs for when you are here. Thank you. You got to help me with my Granita too. But I know the first thing she's going to ask me is, what do you want to do? And I kind of was thinking fall, and I've kind of changed my mind. So I really don't know what I want to do. Karen says, I am a new viewer and saw you stitching the other day. Do you always stitch from the bottom row up instead of top down? No, I stitch where if there's like a solid line that's going to be a base that you can build on either up or down, I will kind of start there. So I kind of just start wherever, and obviously I kind of like to change it up from time to time. What fabric are you stitching it on? So I'm not sure which one, but if you just comment in the comment box below, I can let you know. I do know that on Granita, I have not decided yet. I want to thank all of you for watching. Make sure to join me next Wednesday for really fun stuff. We have a big announcement for our beginner series. Have a great week. Stitch lots of pretty things, and I'll see you next week.